actually in the screen?
Yep, you're right in the bullseye middle. And it's recording. Alright.
Come on.
But you're not smiling.
Oh, I'm not ready to shoot yet. Hey there, everyone. FG at you again. New project today, and thank you for everyone who subscribed, whether you're a longtime viewer or just brand new to the channel. Certainly want to thank you for coming along with this ride. So this project today is actually not the Nissan. It is actually for the Toyota RAV4. This is the boss's vehicle, and she had asked for a remote start system for Christmas. So, in the interest of, I like, always kind of do it a little more over the top, I added another $90 to the bill and got the digital car link, which is sort of like OnStar. It actually allows you to start and stop your vehicle remotely through your cell phone from anywhere in the world, and also to lock and unlock the doors. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I've installed it on both of our smartphones. And so in just a moment, your time, I'm going to go ahead and show a couple little hiccups that were involved in this installation. The unit came from 12 Volt Solutions, which is a very good company. They are well respected, but there were a few caveats for this particular installation. The RAV4 is not exactly the same as some of the other Toyota installations, which are 100% plug and play. They use 3 different harnesses, and 2 of the harnesses worked perfectly. They plugged in exactly as they were supposed to, and everything functions correctly. However, harness number 3 did end up presenting a little bit of a challenge because it was designed for certain Toyota vehicles and does not fit the RAV. Yeah, one of the exceptions. So unfortunately, in that particular case, I had to email them, and I hit them over a weekend, so they did come back to me the following Monday with an answer and said, yeah, you're going to have to actually cut off that harness and splice into one of the pins on the body control module. And when we get to the video, you're going to see how much of a challenge that might have been. So I went ahead and created a different answer. I actually spliced the pin over at the engine controller instead under the hood, and I will detail that when we get to the video. So see you in a moment. Alright, so as promised, here we are outside now. It's a balmy 24 degrees here in Maryland. This is a little colder than normal for us, and I haven't been feeling 100% great the last couple of days, so I'm probably going to be filming this in multiple pieces. But thank you everyone who has been a loyal watcher, and for those who are new, we welcome you, and thank you for your patronage. So this, as mentioned earlier, is a remote start project, and these are the units that came with the kit. So this is a directed electronics, and this is the main brain unit. Turn that around here. You can see that. So what 12 Volt Solutions does is take these different companies' modules and make harnesses for them and do some custom programming. One of the things that was a big draw for me was this neat little thing right here, which just looking at it, it doesn't appear to be much. It's really just a box, honestly. And as you can see, it's nothing super fancy. The only thing there's really to see at all are a couple of status LEDs here on the end. But what's really cool about this little guy is you can see that it plugs directly into the directed harness, and this is a cell phone adapter. I will show the application for that in a few minutes in the next piece of the video. But this little gadget here actually has, believe it or not, has cell phone service. So I can lock and unlock the doors of the vehicle basically from anywhere in the world that has US compatible cell phone service, and that I can also start and stop the engine. Right, so what they did here is they created these harnesses, including a nice fuse here, which is really good. And basically, let me see if I can show you here. It kind of goes up inside the bowels. Under here, I didn't get a video of the part removed here, but I'll see if I have a photo of that later. But there's a connector up inside here. You take off the bottom half of the steering column cover here, this plastic, which does not even have any screws. In some Toyota models it does. This one, if you just turn the steering wheel, let me see if I can, fade back a little bit. If I turn the steering wheel to a proper angle, this area right over here where the turn signal switch is, you'll actually see a little hole, and that's just a tab. You put a small screwdriver in there and just pry a little bit very gently while pulling down on this bottom half housing, and the whole thing just pops right out. So what they did was they have these inline harnesses, a male and a female, and it's basically just an interceptor. You just put that in there, it plugs into the stock harness and then back up inside, which is really, really cool. The only problem is that for several of the models, including, I believe it was either the Camry or the Avalon, this is a complete plug-and-play system. However, for this particular model, the RAV, there is one little hiccup. Two of the connectors are purely in line. One of them goes to the light switch, which is, like I pointed out, up inside here, which is why you're getting up inside the steering column, because it's where the light switch is, right? The other one, let me see if I get down here, is the OBD port, which is actually kind of cool as well. Like I said, it's an inline. So this port that you're seeing here, this OBD port, is actually not the factory OBD. The one that they provided is actually back here underneath. And this little guy goes right in here. And then some of this wiring, you can see there's two sets coming off of the looming here. I don't remember which one is which, but one of these goes there, and they're obviously very different, so it's impossible to plug them in wrong. You'll see exactly where they go. However, the problem here was that for the RAV, for the start and stop function, which obviously is the most important out of everything, unless you really only want to lock and unlock your doors from time to time, is the starting function itself, and the body control module is located behind this plastic panel, buried up inside behind all of this steel and foam and all this other wonderful stuff. And in their directions, you have to get in there and find the one connector, pull it down, find pin 4 with a red wire, and tie the start signal onto that. Right, exactly. That's the same thing I'm thinking. Are you kidding me? So you can see what I did here. This purple is the start signal. As you can see right here, it says to starter wire adapter. Okay, sorry, it's upside down, but yeah. And so I tied this harness to it. Now you can see I pulled some extra wires at the same time and just wrapped them in case I decide to do something later on in the future. I have no idea. Usually when I'm doing something on the truck, I do this too. And you can see where the harness goes underneath of here, disappears behind the center console, comes behind the radio, comes all the way over here, and you can see the giant snake hanging out. And from there, it goes up to a grommet. And give me a moment. I'm going to see if I can get over there. Be right back. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's a pretty good view. There you are. You can see it. That's the factory provided grommet right there. You can see where this big cluster of wires goes through in the center. Wow, let me see if I can get the angle here. Sorry, this is a terrible place to film. I think you can see, yeah, there we are. You can see where the factory wire goes through. And I punched a hole in the grommet and brought my loom through there as well. Now, you might be scratching your head going, why in the world would he go all the way across behind the instrument panel, dash, whatever you like to call it, come around. Oh, excuse me. Here we go. Okay, let's see if I can get a view here. And there you are. Okay, so there's where it comes through on the other side. And now, obviously I haven't neatened this up yet. Of course, it's just all laying crazy because I'm still in the process of tying everything down. But I wanted to shoot the video while I was doing it. I'm going to follow this vacuum line right here all the way across. And why I went through all of that nightmare trouble, I will show you in a second. I just put this plastic bag over the wire because it hasn't been wrapped yet. Let me take the bag off. So this is the PCM, right? The engine control module right here. So that pin 4 wire that I was talking about, red, goes through the factory loom, which is this guy right here, and goes, yeah, right, down in there. As you can see, or maybe you can't see, it's a deep, dark tunnel that would be pretty much, let me see if I can get a little bit of light in there, pretty much impossible to access that grommet once the vehicle is assembled, unless you really felt like tearing half of the vehicle apart. So the wire grommet on the other side was a whole lot easier to reach. So yeah, it cost me a couple of dollars in wire, but the massive amount of headache was certainly worth it. So here is the other end of where the looming came through, and you can see if you back up over to here, here's the end of the fat side, and like I said, I pulled 4 extra circuits through here. No idea if I'm ever going to use them. They might end up riding around with the RAV until, you know, the very last day of its life, or the very last day of its life with us anyway, perhaps. And so that's that. So here's the wire that I'm connected to, and so that comes out over here, and I put smaller wrap around that to protect it, and that comes over here. And this is the PCM. Let me see if I can get a view here. This red wire, which is the third one from the left, counting where you see the bigger grommets, is this red wire, and this is the start signal. So what I did was just carefully peeled back right here with a razor blade, removed the insulation without cutting the wire itself. So the wire's still intact. I just took and wrapped my new one around it and soldered it on. And of course, like I said, I have to go through and wire tie everything up nice and neat, clean it up, and put electrical tape, of course, around this naturally, and then put the factory loom, which is right here, back on top of it to protect it. But that'll keep water intrusion and anything else from going on and causing any problems. So yeah, that's that's the project in a basic nutshell. The first 2 looms, like I pointed out, were plug and play. They were very easy. This one, yeah, as you can see, not so much. So anyway, I seem to have misplaced the other piece. I'm gonna have to go look for that, but it doesn't really matter because it's not part of the project as such. It's gonna get eventually probably just tossed into my junk bin. That was, like I said, the other 2 were basically inline plug and play connectors, but this one didn't work for here. If it does turn up, I'll throw a picture on, but for anybody who has a RAV, it's not going to matter because you're going to end up cutting it off anyway. So that was that. So yeah, this basically ends this part of the video. I'm going to go ahead and clean up all the wiring and get everything snapped back together, and I'll do a very short little brief exit here when I get all this done, and just show you how all the wire looks after I get everything cleaned up and trimmed out. So until the next piece, FG out, and catch you in a moment. So the ending part of the video hadn't come out exactly as I'd first planned. I still haven't been able to figure out what I did with that little piece of harness that I cut off. So hopefully that'll show up. I'm actually going to end up making a part 2. I'm going to show the starter system in operation and the actual lock and unlock function. I mean, not rocket science, not a big deal. A lot of you have probably seen something similar to this before, but I'm just going to go ahead and document it anyway. It's not going to be a long video, most likely. So that'll be part 2. Should be posting in probably 2 to 4 weeks. So in the meantime, go out and have some fun. Get her muddy. The world's still a big place, and thankfully it looks like, at least in some areas, things are getting closer to back to normal, and winter should be over, well, not too long, hopefully. For y'all in the northern end of the country, it's going to be a little while yet, but in the southern end, you're probably counting 4 to 6 weeks, and you should start seeing some better weather. So let's see some snow videos. If you have some places that you're driving and you're heading out, even if all the snow and ice hasn't melted off yet, go ahead and post something up. Let's see what we got going on. give feedback to me and to everyone else, and maybe even start your own channel if you feel led and ambitious. Until the next time, FG out.